in right now to the Call Toni Real Estate Radio Show with Toni Patillo and her co-host Jason J. This is where you come to learn about buying real estate. Here's Toni.
Hello, Los Angelinos. It's your host, Toni Patillo, and you're listening to Call Toni Real Estate Radio on KTLK AM 1150. I'm here with my co-host, Jason J.
Now, if you just tuned in, we are about to bring on Karla Dennis. She's the founder of Cohesive Tax, and she's also the new host of our segment, Your Money Matters. And Karla, we really appreciate you coming on the show. We're really blessed to have you because we've been looking for a partner for that particular segment for a while, and we really did a lot of research, and we're glad to have you on the show.
Jason, I'm excited to be here. Really looking forward to the conversation with the listeners.
So tell us what an enrolled agent is.
An enrolled agent is a tax professional who has sat for a rigorous exam administered through the U.S. Treasury Department, which allows us to be licensed in all 50 states. We hold a federal designation. We can represent clients all across the United States, up and through the appellate division of the Internal Revenue Service. We are the tax gurus. We eat and sleep income tax, and I just love being a part of this profession, and it's something that I'm willing to be here and answer some of your listeners' questions. And there's so many lost opportunities in the tax code that the average individual taxpayers don't understand. So my goal and objective is to simplify it for them so they can squeeze more tax dollars out of their money they're making every day. What I think it basically boils down to is most people are afraid of taxes.
Right.
But if they can get with someone who enjoys the law, have a conversation with them, figure out what some of their challenges are, what are they working with, put together a strategy to prepare their taxes, reduce their tax bill. I think what's important is that slow is now the new fast. Let's take the time to be strategic in the way that we're doing things, and I think the taxpayers will get a bigger bang for their buck when it comes to their tax bill. For me, once I understand the individual, it's like painting a picture. I can paint a great tax solution for them using the tax code, minimizing their taxes, and introduce them to concepts they've never heard of before, because many taxpayers are leaving money on the table, Jason.
Yeah. So, Karla, with our new segment that we're going to have every week, Your Money Matters, tell the audience what they can expect from that. What kind of things are you going to bring every week to help them in their financial future?
Right. What I plan to bring every week is the ability to empower the listeners to think differently about their tax and money position. I want the listeners to understand how to think methodically, strategically before going out spending their money. With a little bit of thought, a little bit of strategy, they can spend their money more wisely. They'll be able to reduce their tax bills, and they'll be able to squeeze a little bit more out of the money they're making. So it's about being a smarter consumer from a financial and tax perspective. Toni, recently we did a little survey in our office just to compare some tax returns prior to clients working with us. The average amount of money lost was about $4,800.
Wow. Per client?
Per client.
Wow.
And that was because they weren't taking advantage of certain what?
They weren't taking advantage of certain tax credits, certain tax deductions. They were just doing a very vanilla tax return, no strategy whatsoever. When you go into your everyday tax office, it's someone that's just going to take your forms, fill in the blanks on the tax return, and produce a product for you. When you work with a strategist, an enrolled agent, we're going to sit down, get to know you, and we're going to plan out your tax bill. We're going to look for every golden nugget, and our goal is to put more money back in your pocket, not to have you overpaying your taxes. And I really do believe the average person is being overtaxed.
Wow.
I had a gentleman come in my office the other day. He's right on the brink of starting to ramp up and make a tremendous amount of income. He does have some back tax issues. And what we were able to do for this gentleman, we got him a tax settlement where we were able to settle those back taxes, got him a great settlement. It's done. It's paid for. Now he's at peace. He can move forward and start making money. And this is what we want to do. We want to assess our situations, and we want to move forward because there are solutions for people that have back tax issues.
Right. maybe you worked with one of those tax offices like the H&R Block that we talked about, or something that really didn't take the time to plan it out. And they may be great people, but they didn't really. You feel that maybe there was something you overpaid or didn't pay enough of. Can they work with somebody like you to fix those things?
Yes, they can. They can go back up to 3 years and recoup money that was left on the table. And I always highly recommend that they look back 3 years. The key is if we get audited by IRS, they're going to assess us additional tax based on additional income, and they will go back up to 3 years. Mm-hmm. So I think we should also look at our situation and go back 3 years. I had another lady who I worked with whom she first came to me. She actually owned real estate. She didn't understand some advantages that she could have taken as a real estate owner, the real estate professional status, write-off she left on the table. We went back, amended her return for 3 years. She got back a $57,000 refund for 3 years, and that's enough money for a down payment on another piece of property. So I'm all about trying to keep your cash in your pocket legally, using the code, and really empowering taxpayers to just stop strategically and take a really good look.
That's awesome. That is amazing. You talked about going back 3 years, but I want to talk about what happens if you need to go back beyond that, or can you go back beyond that?
You can certainly go back beyond that, but your refund is barred for up to 3 years. So you won't be able to get back a refund, but maybe there's a reason to go back and make a strategic move on the return to bring you forward to the 3 current years to reduce your tax bill. So for example, I see situations where people were taking property as a second home as opposed to a rental property, thinking they were saving money, where if we went back and positioned it as a rental, we may not get the refund going back 5 years, but that repositioning, bringing us current, is going to generate a refund in the next 3 years moving forward. So there's always opportunity, Toni. I mean, I just love it. I love a person to come to me with some issue that I can help them resolve.
Yeah. I can tell that you're very, very passionate about it. And I am so glad, because somebody's got to be passionate about this. This is not a subject that everybody is typically like jumping up and down about. But you know what? Listening to you, it's like, you know what? I've got to bring my stuff to you and let you take a look at this. Can you elaborate on what you do with your clients when it comes time to be audited? How does that look for you?
Yes, Toni. Audits are on the rise because we hear the government's out of money. So a lot of people are getting those letters, and now IRS is calling individuals. And if individuals get an audit notice, I don't recommend that they represent themselves. They can hire a representative. Publication 1 allows for that. I represent my clients fully. I do not allow them to communicate with IRS. I have attorney-client privilege for clients, and I take the audit on fully. I've been representing clients in audits for over 20 years, so I know a lot of the auditors in the district. Our goal is to go in and get a no-change audit for our clients so that the IRS can be shut down. And a no-change audit is different from some adjustments but zero tax. A no-change audit really means nothing on the return is being changed. We're not taking away any deductions. We're not adding back anything. Very important so that the client cannot be audited again. So it's something that I enjoy. I mean, bring an audit on. It's just,
ladies and gentlemen, that alone is worth the price of admission, I would guess. You know, just not having to deal with that at all, and especially so with you being in your team being enrolled agents, you have access to people at the IRS that makes the process a lot smoother.
Can you imagine 20 years doing audits, and you know all the auditors in there? Now, I would say that's some cheese right there. Okay.
Now, Karla, since this is the Call Toni Real Estate Radio Show, with real estate being our big component that we talk about, can you give us some advantages of owning real estate and how that affects your taxes?
Absolutely. Owning real estate is one of the last big write-offs that we as individual taxpayers have, whether it's owning a home, a primary residence, or whether it's owning investment property. But some basic things that you want to make sure that you're writing off, obviously if it's your primary residence, get your mortgage interest written off, your property taxes written off. If you're stepping over to the investment side of the equation, well, the sky's almost the limit. You're certainly going to write off your mortgage interest and your taxes, your travel to and from the real estate, all costs associated with it, your education, your learning. It's like owning real estate gives you another bucket to drop tax deductions into. I absolutely love buckets. I love real estate investing. I'm a big advocate myself. I own rental real estate, And it's just the next thing to really help you reduce your taxes.
It's like having your own business on the side.
It is like having your own business on the side, and it really is a business. Mm-hmm. And the more you treat it like a business, the bigger the write-offs.
Let's shift gears for a moment into the distressed property arena. You know, there's a lot of stress around people who are doing short sales today and what kind of tax consequences and what they're going to be dealing with. That's a big, big fear.
We're seeing a lot of people that have foreclosed on property. They don't really realize that there are solutions out there for them. We're seeing a lot of short sales, but I guess the real important keys and nuggets I would like for them to take away is, number one, there is a solution. If you're going to receive a 1099-C, there are solutions on how we may be able to report that income, but that income not be taxable for tax purposes. When you short sale property, there's two sides of the equation. There's a side of the equation that you're actually selling the property for probably less than you bought it for. So you're going to have a tax loss. And then there's the debt relief in terms of the 1099-C. Those two numbers should be pretty close. And if they're not, there's three other strategies that we can employ so that you don't have to even report that income and it's not taxable. So I don't want people to be in fear. I want them to plan. I want them to get the real knowledge they need to move forward in that space, because it is stressful for individuals. I had a taxpayer that was thinking about short selling some property, and she was like really up all night, just completely stressed out. When we finished doing the calculations and analysis for her, the government was going to owe her back money.
There you go.
That's right.
They were going to owe her money.
Amazing.
So what I want my taxpayers to really understand, don't fear IRS. Use the code to the fullest extent. It's 80,865 pages. I read it consistently.
Wow.
And there's so many golden nuggets that we can utilize. And I really want to simplify it. I don't want the client to have to understand the code. I want them to understand the concept. And the concept is really look at your taxes strategically and not just black and white, filling in boxes on a tax return.
You know what? We are so excited that you're with us, Karla, for sure.
And I'm excited to be here.
We're gonna have to wrap it up, unfortunately, but you know what? You're gonna be back next week. We want to remind you that we're here every Saturday at 3 p.m. on Call Toni Real Estate Radio, KTLK AM 1150, where we're bringing you tools for positive change. If you tuned in late and you'd like to go back and listen to the full show, please go to calltoni.com. That's calltoni with an I.com, and click on the previous show's link. And remember, you can always call us at our off-air number, 888-309-9797. That's 888-309-9797. We want to thank you again for tuning in, and have a magical weekend.